Hello everyone, welcome back to Chart Power. Today I'd like to talk to you about Cardano, also known as ADA, because its symbol is ADA, so we call it ADA or Cardano. And Cardano is one of the favorites. It has performed extremely well this market cycle. It has had very good returns, especially for a coin that is near the top of the market caps, meaning that it has a lot of money in it. There have been, of course, small coins that have done like crazy nutso things, but they're a little bit more of a gamble. All right, so let's take a look. First of all, I want to actually take a look at the total market chart. This chart represents all of the money that is in the vast majority of the cryptos. So all of that money in one big pot is represented by this chart. And of course, so we had the big run up and then the steep drop off. And then the reason why I find this chart so interesting is because it has bounced off of this $1.5 trillion line for quite some time. And then it fell through it decisively, meaning at this point, a lot of money was taken out of this market. It bounced off right here at a low of 1.13 and bounced around, and now it's right back up at nearly the $1.5 trillion line again. Now, this has been a nice little run up, and a lot of people have turned bullish again because a lot of cryptos have made up some ground in this run up here. But until it's really back above this $1.5 trillion line, for me, it doesn't really mean that much. And I'm not really turning short-term bullish again just yet, especially because on this channel I have shown quite a few times that once a line, a very well-defined line like this is broken through, it can certainly hold below. It can hold that price action back under this line for some time. Now, again, of course, this could just be a short-term juke, and it actually, yeah, it goes above it, and this ends up being the bottom. It's possible. A lot of people are saying that, but for me, until it is decisively back above this line again, I will maintain a wait-and-see attitude. All right, let's get to a Cardano, however. Let's take a look, because during all of that downward movement and volatility, Cardano, as you can see here, has held pretty steady on mostly trending sideways. It didn't get yanked down a lot. Of course, it did a little bit. And I'm going to compare that to some other coins. But first, I want to start with the big view, and let's see how Cardano has done up to this point. All right, we're going to start with the pandemic low, when all the markets crashed, when the pandemic first hit back in March, and we're going to measure from that point to its peak. All right, from that point to its peak was about a 14,500% gain. Very respectable. Like I said, some other smaller coins may have done even more than that, but a 14,000 plus gain is pretty insane. And that's why a lot of people like that, of course. All right, let's look at another good performer and compare. Because when you're just looking at lines on a chart, it's hard to tell how they are performing relative to each other unless you take some measurements or overlap the charts or something like that. So let's also measure Ethereum from the pandemic low in March to its peak. That's a 4,700% gain. Still unbelievable, but Cardano did better. We're going to take another look at another one here, Link, from the pandemic low in March. This was a 3,400 and some odd percent gain. Fantastic, but not as good as Cardano. And one more here, we will take Bitcoin. And from its low to its peak here was a 1,573% gain. So in that respect alone, you can see clearly how strong of a performer Cardano has been, at least compared to some of the other big players. All right, now I want to take another measurement, and I have to delete that one. All right, so this measurement is going to be from its peak to its current price. And let me zoom in on that a little bit here. Okay, get rid of this one. Go away. Thank you. Okay, and zoom in there, and we're ready to take the measurement from the peak to its current price minus 44.9, let's call it minus 45%. All right. Now, how much has Ethereum dropped? And the same at the same time. Again, getting rid of the old price measurement, zooming in, and take the new measurement from the peak to its current price minus 50%. Same thing for Chainlink now. Get rid of the old, out with the old, in with the new. Zoom in a little bit and take that measurement. That is going to be minus 62%. And just to refresh your memory, Cardano was about 45%. And finally, we will do the same thing for Bitcoin here. Now, I just made a video called Bitcoin Relative Strength. So, Bitcoin, since the drop, has been holding up much better than the vast majority of the altcoins. Let's see how it compares to Cardano. From the peak to the current price, 44, about, again, if we're rounding up, let's just say roughly 45% for both Bitcoin and Cardano. However, remember that Bitcoin didn't have nearly the run-up that Cardano had. So yeah, they're both down about 45%, but Cardano was up 14,000%, and Bitcoin was only up 1,500%. So you can really see, again, talking in relative terms, the relative strength of Cardano is really pretty incredible when you compare to the rest of the market and the other coins. All right, so what else I want to do with Cardano here is look at some specifics in where we're at right now and some levels here. Starting off, number one, with this purple line. This is the $1 line, and as you can see, it made that huge run up, made it to $1, but I had this a little bounce off of it, not much. It was like still ready to go. Boom, through it. A little spiky volatility there, but then up above it and then kind of danced on it for a while there. But clearly $1 has been a big price level in Cardano. It hit it there and bounced off, but everything else was basically from the other side, bouncing up from above, from above, from above, and from above. Once it got over $1, that was, so far, that was it for that price level. All right, and then let me just mark off the peak here, which was at, oops, I'm making too many lines here. Want to move this one up to $2 and approximately $2.50 is its peak. All right, but one more line that I consider to be pretty important here is the $1.25 line. Now, some people are saying the $1.30 line, or I've seen $1.31. I can't quite get it. Come on, you. Got to zoom in a little here and get it right on that 125 as best as I can. Okay. All right. Now the reason I'll show you either way, $1.25, $1.30. This range has shown itself to be pretty important here. We had basically some spikes through it, but it held under that line for a while. Got through it and came back below again. But once it hit off of this dollar again. You can see here, it sort of trended. It had that spike above, trended down, 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 hit $1, and then boom. It was over that 125 line all the way until pretty recently, and it kind of spiked down, but it's above it again. So you can see where, again, it got over it, and then it really popped right off of that. We have a bunch of closes above it, didn't quite reach it, some volatility spike, and now staying above it. So these are the two lines that I consider very important, very valued by Cardano, the dollar and the 125. So basically, if it's above the 125, we're kind of looking pretty good. And if I was going to be a buyer, I'd be wanting to buy somewhere right above the $1 line, according to how history has shown Cardano to act. So if I was going to be a buyer, in fact, Cardano is one of my biggest holdings, but I bought a long time ago. My average price was 13 cents. So I haven't decided if I'm going to be adding to my portfolio as far as that is concerned, but I don't know. I'm going to again watch and see how the market acts around that 1.5 trillion dollar level. But again, if I was looking to buy, around there looks good to me. Anything, as long as it's staying above this level, it's looking really good. Now, of course, things can always get worse. If the total market does something like this, down to the $1 trillion level, it's going to drag a lot of stuff down. We really don't know what's going to happen. We're talking in terms of probabilities. And so anyway, this basically shows, at the point we're at right now, the relative incredible strength of Cardano. And this tiny little breakout above this short-term trend line, a lot of people are thinking that they're already calling it a bullish breakout, and they might be right. It is looking incredible. It's looking like it's just spring-loaded in this area and ready to go. And not just that, but to sum up, I know I keep talking about the bearish scenario, but let's talk about the bullish scenario that I want to end with here, which is, if this was a short-term juke down just to finally knock out all of the weakest hands holding cryptos, very possible. And if the market continues from here, all right, if the market continues north from here, now again, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm waiting and watching and seeing. But if it does, seeing the history of Cardano, where it's at right now, it's like tension on a spring. It might even possibly drop down to $1 again. That's why I was saying I might be a buyer right there if I wanted to. But oh boy, you could just see how this coin out of all of the biggest players, well, I don't know, I'm not going to make a total big blanket statement like that, but out of a lot of the biggest coins, it certainly looks very, very promising. If we have a strong turnaround in the markets somewhere in this area, it could be very, very good for Cardano. So there's a few ifs in there, and again, I'm going to really be keeping my eye and seeing what happens in this zone. It's going to really tell me a lot, and we'll see what happens from there. So anyway, if you want to come along for the ride and watch along with me, I'll be tracking all of these movements. If you want to subscribe to this channel, you'll be notified of when future videos comes out. And if you found value in this video, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.